I've come out today to do some planting, move a load of my plants around, and it's what is it, New Year's Eve 2021, and the temperature is just crazy really. Yesterday I think we made 17 degrees here. Today it's about probably 8, 9, 10, 11, but it feels really warm. So I'm out here and I thought I've got some plants to move around out of certain borders that I've got my list written up to be moved. And this one here is called Hylotelephium karfunkelstein, a purple-leaved sedum. Sedums have changed the name. I don't know if you know, but sedums are no longer sedums. They're now called Hylotelephiums. There are sedums, but they're not this variety of sedum. So what I've decided to do, while I've got a little bit of time, because I'm busy moving stuff all over the place at the minute, including some of me grasses, I've decided, because we've got to that time of year when people can't decide whether to chop things back or not. Now, I wait till February. First week in February, I tend to go for it. Now, I've got a quarter acre of a garden here, so I need to sort of jiggy on a bit. And with this in mind, today's a good day, so you can only do it when you've got good days. Now, unusually, for this time of year, it's perfect weather. It's dry, it's, as you can see, it's sunny. It's looking really good. In fact, the sun through this Pinus contorta, Chief Joseph, is looking ace. So it just looks great. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I do. Now, what I do when I've got these sedums or Hylotelephiums, but for today's purposes, we'll refer back to them as sedums. When we get to these sedums, we really need to tidy them up. Now, I've moved these recently. I've no issue moving stuff. I probably moved these on one of the coldest days we've had this year, if I remember rightly, because I needed them down this area. Originally, they were right near the house over there, so it looks really, really nice when you sat on those chairs under the bay window. It looked really nice because it was right in front of you. But I've decided I've planted them up here. It should draw the eye as we go through sort of spring, summer. It should draw the eye up to here to make it look more interesting when I'm sat down there. And I tend to clump things together. Now, you must try and clump more together. 3s, 5s and 7s is the number always given you. After 7, your eye can't kind of identify whether there's odd numbers or not. But odd numbers seem to work, especially 3s, 5s and 7s when you're first establishing. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 here. Now, that's not by design. That's just happened because I've been splitting this plant for some time. So what I'm going to do is show you how to clip away if you're not happy with how messy they look. Now, this sedum generally looks good because at this time of year we've normally got lots of frost going on and it settles onto this seed head. Now, because I've moved it, I've caused 1 or 2 problems on it. It's sort of like breaking away and branching, and let's see if I can find an example. No, can't find the example. I wanted to show you an example. But once it's cut off, what you'll tend to find is if you're not careful and you pull these things away, see if I can do it. No, that's not doing it either. But what you tend to do is you'll pull away all the new growth which is coming through, and that growth's been coming through since November, ready to go in the spring. Now, although they look green at the minute, they are purple. They're kind of a deep maroon colour, and they're stunning. But what you've got to do is avoid pulling these out. Dare I sacrifice one of them? I thought I'd actually got one of them, but anyway, let's not worry. Now, I don't really want to sacrifice this, but if I pull one of these away too much, these stems here, particularly those ones, I'll pull all this growth away with it. Now, what you can do is you can remove those, plant them in, and 9 times out of 10, if you've got them in a pot, they'll just grow. But you need protection at this time of year. So this time of year, I wouldn't even be attempting to put any sort of cuttings together unless I've got the protection that they need. I have got a greenhouse, the hybrid greenhouse, but I'm not going to use that for these because I can do these from splits dead easy later on in the year when I'll get a much better sized plant for myself or to sell on or whatever. So what you must do, if you've got to the stage where you think it's time to go, get yourself a pair of secateurs and then get these rough bits here. See that little rough bit there? Yeah, that little rough bit there. That's it. That's one that's broke off. God knows which one. One of these ones has broke off as I've moved them. And what you do is you go back as far as you dare, being careful not to cut any of these little things here, these little beasties here. Don't be touching those. Leave them alone. And then you clip them off. Again, you clip them off, clip off, and you just keep going really. Now there's a bit of soil on this, so don't worry too much about the soil being on there. The plant will push through that. As long as it don't get wet and soggy too much, it should cope fine. But what you must do is clip them off. So you can see that's coming off. So we're getting quite a pile of stuff now. And you just keep going on the plant, being careful not to, if you damage one or two of them, it don't matter. You know, it's going to come back. It's a plant. It don't want to die. It wants to grow. It'll live. Don't worry about it. If you're new to this and you ain't got a clue, you just must carry on. Now, I've usually got my glove on at this point, but I haven't at the moment, and I've got, here we go, I've got a three-pronged cultivator. I use these all the time. Wolfgarten, brilliant make. And what I tend to do is I will then rough the area up around it. So I'll do that, just tidy that area up, and when we've finished, you know, I mollycoddle around a little bit. I don't need this label in here. I'll leave this in because simply because I've moved them this year, so I needed to be aware if the snows came and I'd lost them, I needed to know that that's because the clumps can die back in a bad winter, and then they'll restart again once spring kicks in. And if I couldn't see anything there, then I'd need to know it was there, and that label will tell me that. But once I'm used to where these things are, it'll be absolutely fine. So I've got all these ones to do. I shall set about that. We'll get all those down in the next 5 minutes. They'll be gone, and it'll all be down to these little stubs, and they should be absolutely fine from then on. So if you're not sure what to do and you see them wobbling about and it's just breaking away, get yourself in there with your secateurs and get it sorted. Don't be afraid. Any damage you cause, don't worry about it. The plant will pick itself back up once spring really kicks in. Okay, thanks for looking. Ta-da.